Well, many people know that the southeast side neighborhood of Pullman was created for families of the Pullman Palace Car Company. But what's not widely known is that a big part of the company's success can be credited to the Pullman porters. Those are the highly trained African-American porters who attended to guests on long cross-country journeys. Well, the National A. Philip Randolph Pullman Porter Museum honors and celebrates the legacy of the men who created the first African-American labor union and who helped develop the black middle class here in America.
Abraham Lincoln's son was the president of the Pullman Company. You don't hear a lot about that.
Dr. Lynn Hughes is full of little nuggets of information like that when it comes to the Pullman Railcar Company. As the founder of the National A. Philip Randolph Pullman Porter Museum, she has immersed herself in its history and that of A. Philip Randolph, as well as the Brotherhood of Sleeping Car Porters, also known as the Pullman Porters.
They were the forerunners for the hospitality industry.
Many of the early train car porters were hired just as slavery ended. Even though the job was portrayed as glamorous by the Pullman Company, it was anything but.
They went through all manner of racism, mean treatment, disrespect.
Despite wearing name tags, they were often called George, the first name of the Pullman Company's founder. They weren't paid well, despite traveling 11,000 miles a month and working nearly 400 hours. They also had to pay for their own food, lodging, and uniforms, which was about half their wages. They were charged whenever passengers stole a towel or water pitcher, and they weren't eligible for promotion to conductor, even though they performed many of the duties. That job was reserved for whites. And they weren't allowed to join the union.
Every time they would go to try to start a union, the Pullman Company would fire a whole wave of people and then replace them. They had spies. They paid spies to watch them.
Eventually, they reached out to A. Philip Randolph, who had written passionately about the porter's plight in his magazine, The Messenger. Randolph, who had helped to organize a union of elevator operators in New York City in 1917, was elected president of the newly formed Brotherhood of Sleeping Car Porters in 1925. Despite never having worked as a porter.
The Pullman Company sent, when they found out he was helping them start a union, they sent someone to him with a blank check that was signed and said to him he could fill it in up to $1 million if he stopped helping them organize for the union. He made a copy of the check and sent it back to them and said Negro's principles were not for sale. And that's when they gave him the label of the most dangerous black man in America.
After years of bitter struggle, the Pullman Company finally agreed to a contract in 1937, 12 years after the union's founding. The porters got pay raises, a shorter work week, and overtime pay.
They were the first to win a collective bargaining agreement with a major U.S. corporation, which happened to be the Pullman Company. They made history. That has never happened before or since.
Revisionist historians have kind of isolated his story.
David A. Peterson is the president and executive director of the Pullman Porter Museum.
You know, our mission is to make sure that this story, this legacy is protected.
To that end, the museum celebrates its 27th anniversary this year and is making plans to expand its both physical location in the Pullman neighborhood and its digital footprint, with hopes of acknowledging many of the descendants of the Pullman Porters.
Many famous descendants of porters like Michelle Obama, Whoopi Goldberg, Robert Townsend, Tom Joyner, Taraji Henson. These are all great people in this world, you know, that are descendants of Pullman porters.
Despite the challenges they faced on the job, Pullman porters were highly respected and carried a level of prestige in their communities. Many believe they created the foundation for the black middle class.
Most men who were Pullman porters had businesses. They owned property. Their children went to college. All went to college. It was very rare for a person who was a Pullman porter who had children whose kids did not go to college. Very rare.
Dr. Hughes says there are multiple lessons to be learned from the Pullman porters: self-pride, self-imposed standards of excellence, and discipline.
It says to our children that you don't have to be a rapper, you don't have to be a basketball player, you don't have to be a football player. You can be an ordinary man doing an ordinary thing, and you can make a difference. And they did. They made history.
The Pullman Porter Museum will celebrate its 27th year founding anniversary this Saturday with the Gentle Warrior Awards Gala Cocktail Reception. This is the museum's primary fundraiser. You can find out more about the event and the museum itself at its website. The information is there on your screen.
So cool. Glad they're expanding.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, there's a
it's
lot
going to be
for
a
them to show
huge
off.
footprint. Oh, yeah. So much information there.